Okay. Welcome, everyone. It's June the 8th, 2022. Welcome to the People's Party of North Carolina State Meeting. Tonight, we are going to basically be doing some celebrating, going over what we've accomplished, and talking about what we have in the future. We do have a couple of new, not new, but a couple of guests. TC, you've been here before, our California connection, and Kate from, is it Minocchio?
Pinocchio, but that was close enough. That was better than most people do.
I remember you being in one meeting with me. You said it's like cappuccino.
No. Actually, Dana, who was calling me Kate Macchiato, like on NOC calls, and I was like, okay, well, like coffee. So that's what Rebecca McNeil was calling me Macchiato. But for me, it's actually, I always tell people it's like Pinocchio, only with an M, Minocchio.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, because I know my name's a mouthful, and everybody always gets it wrong. So it's Gillentine, but they always like guillotine.
Well, what's on their minds?
Right.
Revolution.
They always try to put that U in there, guillotine. So anyway, I think Stacy, good to see you. Glad you could join us. You feeling better? Good to know.
Yes, I'm feeling fine. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Well, let's see, anybody wants to check in here? Anybody have any comments or anything before I pull out the accomplishments page? TC, you doing all right, buddy?
Yeah, I would say that just recently I was thinking about starting a citizens lobby, something what you're talking about there in North Carolina. And then I found out there's a citizens climate lobby, and they're big and they're well organized. And so I got all happy about that. And so that's just one more time I'm seeing people all acting towards the same goal. And I really want to come here and support you and praise you.
Cool.
Good job.
Well, great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I mean, it means a lot. It really does, because it's just a handful of us, and we all have the same intention. We might have different ways of going about it, but we do want to work together and move together for some meaningful change in our political system, and giving citizens other voices other than just your run-of-the-mill duopoly, which we know, as we can see, has been a disaster. So, Aaron, you ready? Aaron, you want to get something to say?
Yeah. I just wanted to quickly just give you a shout out and just like let people know how much I appreciate and it's in the details. Like you helped with this, basically getting a banking account is a big deal. And so you've been significant in that. You've done a lot to help me in this. And I know, as treasurer, that's kind of like my domain. And, I don't know if I would have been able to do it, at least not this quickly, without your help. So I just wanted to give you props. I appreciate that. Because not only that, you're doing the secretary stuff, you're recording these calls, you've put together a logo for the non-profit portion of our action. These are not small feats. I don't want to get into some of these like celebratory things, but I just want to say thank you to Scott, because Scott, he's really owning this title of leading in the way here, and it's a big deal. It's I think it's I just sometimes it goes unsaid, so I just want to give you your props and say thanks. So appreciate you.
Well, you are all very welcome, and I do what I can do. We all do what we can do. Some of us have more time than others, so I'm carrying the load in some ways, but I know the way the universe works, someday you're going to carry my load. So you know, we all contribute in the way and manner in which we can do so. So we have the capacity to adjust and adapt accordingly. Looks like we got Brian here. Brian, good to see you, buddy. Or good to hear you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks.
Okay, well, any other comments before I go ahead and present something here? Okay. Oh, well, I tell you what, why don't we go ahead and get an update from Kate on the People's Party in New Jersey? Just go ahead and, Kate, give us a little breakdown of what you're up to and what's going on over there and how we can be of assistance to you.
I don't know how much you all know, but so before I got kicked out of MPP, the New Jersey state coordinator left. When she left the NOC, she left MPP and she took half the active members with her. So there are 2 New Jersey groups in the UPA, and so I don't know what they're doing, but I can't get enough people to come. Like, nobody even comes to a meeting. Like, everybody's like, oh, they send me emails after I send out an email. They'll send me emails. So glad you're doing this. Sorry, I can't make the meeting. And I just even stopped posting meetings because nobody's coming. So I don't know what to do to get people to come. I'm hoping, like, with the UPA growing and the structure being built, that I'll be able to attract people by using the UPA, and that we're a part of the UPA, and come on, there's work being done kind of stuff. Or maybe, you know, sharing your great accomplishments, getting a party and a pressure group started. That's awesome. So that's why I figure I'll keep coming and seeing what I can do, and hopefully get people to start coming to meetings again and get something figured out.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're glad to help in any way we can. You're always free to join us and contribute, or, you know, we can gain from each other there. Stacy?
Yeah, quick question for Kate, or maybe it's not so quick, but I'm not sure what's the difference between the 2 different New Jersey groups. Is one of them involved with MPP?
No,
Neither of them.
when the active members voted to leave the NOC, which I agreed with, and voted to leave the NOC process, she was talking about leaving MPP altogether. And at that time, there were several other states talking about leaving the NOC process. And she, there were about 8 states all that we were all talking together about leaving the NOC process and possibly also leaving MPP. And she was telling our group that 7 or 8 groups were definitely going to leave. And I was like, no, we don't have definite yet. And she, whatever. She made her statement. She made a whole big thing in the NOC channel and posted, I don't know where else in Slack, and she was removed that night. I was removed a few weeks later for posting the status quo interviews. Yes. But so she left that night, and she, you know, some people went with her, and that's fine. So she had already had a gilded server of New Jersey People's Party. So I won People's Party of New Jersey, but she has since changed hers to New Jersey People's Assembly, I think. But I don't know what's going on in her group. I don't go to her group. But I wanted to stay. We were so close to filing that I wanted to stay and file and get the name, you know. One reason was to stop other volunteers from coming in and wasting, you know, 1.5 to 2 years of their life with MPP. And also it would have been a big FU Nick Brana when we got the name and then told them FU, right? So
can other people all mute? It's really echoey, if that's okay. The sound quality is bad on this particular, you know, thing anyway. So everyone can, if you can mute, except the person who's talking.
So some went with her, some stayed. with our group. And when I left, those active members came with me into Gilded as well. We created a server, and we have a server. We have about the same amount of members, but none of them are participating really. So I don't know if they hold meetings. There's no real difference, just that the split was over when to leave MPP. And I didn't think it was the right time. And she wanted to go then, and that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. All fine.
Thanks, Scott. You're on mute.
Yeah, Bob, were you trying to say something there, buddy?
He said his microphone is not working.
It's not working? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, I am just to let everybody who's not familiar know, I am actually working right now. So if I have to pull away, then we'll let Aaron, you just jump right in there, big boy. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up. Thank you, Kate, for that information. And if we can help you in some way of building your membership or something, then we will certainly be willing to help you with that. So just let us know.
I'm really
So-
here to learn what you guys are doing, get some information, really just kind of observe, happy to answer any questions, but observe what you're doing, how you're doing it, and maybe get some thoughts together and all that kind of stuff. But if that's okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I have a quick
We're here to
question too
help,
for
so-
you, Kate.
All right, so this
Oh.
is what we've done this year, folks. I put down a list. There's probably a few other things that I have not included, but let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Hey, Scott,
Yes, sir.
can I ask Kate a question real quick before we get started on
Go
the
ahead.
second part?
Go ahead.
One question I had, Kate, was how much have you spoke with Mark Ortiz? I know he's been involved in a lot of the UPA meetings and process. Have you gotten a chance to pick his brain at all? I know he's not able to make it tonight, but
I've seen him share a lot, and I know they've just started a circle a week or two ago, which is the party investigating building a party in the UPA or becoming a party, and I know he's contributing a lot to that. But until there's other discussions going on in the UPA that affect that circle, and plus it's on a Saturday. I tell people I don't meet on Saturdays. Saturday's my day. But I know he's a wealth of information, and just I can't wait to actually ask him specifically about New Jersey. But I think that it would just all go way over my head right now, and I have nobody to do the work with me. So, but yes.
okay. Yeah, that I just wanted to. I was just wondering. So yeah, if there are specific questions on the kind of nitty gritty technical type things that we've done, definitely just jump right in and ask us or use the chat. I just want this is from my experience when I was more active in the UPA space. I noticed that his voice was getting ignored in some of the circles and the chats, and I don't think people realize how much he knows about what's needed. And just from our point of view, he's been basically functioning as a consultant for us, telling us what the steps we need to take, and then us just basically doing that, and then here we are. So it's really been as simple as that. I mean, I say as simple as that. It's, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You gotta still do it, but
Yeah. And whenever you get to the point where you need to do bylaws or something, I mean, you'd be glad to show you what we got, and you can probably, take what we have and use it, kind of save a little bit of time and paperwork and all of that. And Mark is just a wealth of information as far as, ballot access laws and all of that good stuff. So yeah, whenever you're at that point, let us know.
Thank you. Yeah.
Reach out to Mark. Yeah.
We actually had the bylaws completed that we took out that MPP provided, but we took out all the reference to national and all the baloney, and we went over every line. And we were this close to filing when the NOC happened. So, so we didn't file. But, Yeah, and then also many people have told me that New Jersey's the worst. Like New York was like, oh, we're the worst. And I'm like, no, we're the worst. And now New York is like, oh yeah, you guys are the worst, and we are the worst. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. You know, I know there's a lot of work to do in New Jersey. Plus, they're so corrupt here. You know, so, so I want to make sure we're ready, and I have people to help before I take up Mark's time. But yes, I know he's a wealth of information. Thank you.
Well, we got your back.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, Scott, take it away.
All right, friends. Well, here we go. We've got a list of things that we have done, our whole party, for the last year. You know, I was sitting outside meditating the other day, and I thought, oh, how much stuff we had to do, and oh my God, and we're just so behind and all this stuff. And the thought came to me, you know, Scott, why don't you sit down and write up what we have actually accomplished? And when I started doing it, I realized, man, we have really made some progress. So here we go. I'm going to read it out. A year in review. Congratulations to all of you wonderful souls who have chosen to be a part of this. A handful of concerned people came together with the intention of creating a party of, for, and by the people. It may seem bleak at times, but consider what we have done in just 1 year. We named our party PPNC and our pressure group PANC. And naming a group is not easy when you got a group of people together. And we've come together, we work together, and actually it's good. We complained about not having the numbers, but I tell you what, when you're setting things up and building things, it's sometimes easier to have fewer people because you can move a little faster. So keep that in mind, Kate. But we also filed our 527 and our 501c4 paperwork and received approval. We also set up bank accounts for both organizations. Merchant services for donations have been set up. We created bylaws for both organizations, although the Populist Action one, we are going to work on sociocracy's method of making decisions. We're going to be working on that. We're kind of playing with that, so we're in the process of going there, but we don't have anything firm yet, but we are moving in that direction. We have staffed our executive committee. However, I'd really like to talk Janet into becoming our secretary, but we'll see about that. And we've getting our executive committee together is a big deal as well. So then you can actually move forward when we have enough people to do the positions, which is tough when you have, not enough people. We also hold weekly meetings, and we have gotten the secretary role set up to where notes are taken and the meeting is recorded and put out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel created so people who can't come, they can actually go to YouTube and watch the meeting that way if they choose. And we also became official with the state. We filed our statement of organization and it was accepted by the Board of Elections. So we are official with the state. Now nobody can grab the People's Party name. We have it, which was why we were moving so quickly on this, because there was Ted Paxton and some of the others who, well, I don't know, was he the only one that split off from us? At the time, I can't think of anybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went ahead and grabbed and made sure we have that name going forward. We even participated at events. We've tabled at Jimmy Dore and the Shikori Hills Festival. So we're already out there handing out literature, handing out, talking to people. So we got a little jump start on that. Hopefully there'll be plenty more of that to come. We created a website, and of course, got 2 websites to create now, which I'm working on. And we have a Twitter page. We also created logos and flyers. We also created business cards. And we've got gilded servers for both organizations. So way to go, you guys. Pat yourselves on the back. Now, that's pretty much it. If anybody has any comments or wants to add to this, jump right in.
Yeah, we learned a lot. We you know, the whole MPP NOC process was a learning experience for just speaking for myself. It was a learning experience. We learned a lot. We learned about where we stood in the bigger picture, and we learned a lot about ourselves. I think, you know, another thing that could be put on this list is we found a group of dedicated people in North Carolina to really stick to the mission. And I think that's a huge, huge deal because people that show up to these meetings get it. They understand that we live in a society that is controlled by very corrupt people. Both parties, the Democratic and Republican Party, extremely corrupt, working together. I mean, how many times have we heard Nancy Pelosi say, we need a strong Republican Party? They work together. They're the same. They're one and the same. And as bad as things have gotten with COVID in 2020, still no health care, still no Medicare for all. And so what we found, I think this is a huge win. We found people who understand and care and realize the significance of how dire things are, and decided no matter what, we need to try. We need to go down fighting. We can't just keep saying, you know, incremental change will help this. Incremental change has failed us time and time again. And honestly, for me personally, that has been one of the hardest things to do, is find people to understand that incremental change is a failure. It's not going to work. So to just finding people that understood that was a big deal for me personally. I think that was a win. And then in working together with the same group of people for so long, we sort of found each other's strengths and weaknesses. We realized what people were good at, what people were not as good at, what people are, you know, what we could ask help for, and people stood, and what's even better, people knew what their own strengths were and offered to help and put forth the effort to get us to this point. We needed all hands on deck, you know, this whole time. So I just think that's a huge win. I'm really excited considering the numbers we're at. Imagine if there was twice as the number of us, you know, we'd get so much more done. And I think that's why I just think it's just the beginning here with us. I think we've learned a lot from the Green Party, and we could take those lessons and move the ball forward. And I think we've learned a lot from each other. So I consider all those things a win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Aaron. I mean, it's amazing what you know, a small group of committed people can do, and I think we're kind of proving that. But we definitely want to start spreading out and spreading our tentacles out and start to bring more people in. So yeah, Bob, what you got to say, buddy?
Well, it's good to be with you. I've been not AWOL, but actually working on my job, which is building capacity. First people, then money. And of course that follows the people. And since I came in this thing, since Signe picked up the phone and called MPP and said, where are the people in North Carolina so we can join them? And they said, well, we don't have anybody. But they didn't know they had Ted, I guess. And so she says, well, you do now. And that was the beginning of the Greensboro hub. And then eventually the beginning of the statewide system that we're working on today. I have always been here for building membership, because if without membership, we cannot succeed. I don't care how good our paperwork is, our bylaws are, how appealing our message is to the people that finally get to see it. We we could build millions of people and still fail. That's the challenge we face is to push through that and say, yeah, but we've got a very good chance to succeed if we do that. We will certainly fail if we don't get a lot of people. Kate, I'm sorry to hear of your situation up there in New Jersey. Looking at you online, I had said, man, they must be doing it right. And I didn't know until tonight that you actually have 2 organizations up there, which is just about as counterproductive as anything I can think of. But what I decided to do was to put full time into going around to organizations, and I need for folks here to connect me with an organization they're a part of, and I will go wherever they are in North Carolina at my expense, and in the persona of Mark Twain, will tell them what's going on. We'll tell them what the truth is of the matter that Scott just so well described. I'm going to do it in a manner that I found people listen to. And the first edition of this effort is on Sunday afternoon in Black Mountain, North Carolina, at normally a music venue. So we threw in some music to comply with an opening act. And I'm going to have a 30 to 45 minute talk about the Gilded Age, that it started in 1898. No, it started in 1870, right after the Civil War, and it is continuing on today, except back in the Twain's day, the folks were pikers. They really just didn't know how to make that system work for them. In other words, put money in their pockets. Anyway, I don't want to go off and lose all my verve talking to you guys. Right now, we have an offer of comp tickets to anybody that wants to come. I have offered them to my older son. He has 2 kids and a wife. So I've got 4 comp tickets reserved for him. And anybody who can get to Black Mountain, which is no small feat. It's a long way from where most of us that are in this group live. But I will go to any place in North Carolina and talk to any organization that has any possibility of voting for People's Party candidates when we finally get the ballot line. And I will go there at my expense. All you got to do is set it up, and I will show up. I will also go out of state, but I need some help with expenses for that. But I'm going to pay my own expenses to do this for our group here at the People's Party of North Carolina.
You rock, buddy. You rock hard.
Yeah, I'm rocking hard as I can, being an old guy,
There you go. Well, the challenge has been laid out, my friends. Let's put Bob to work. So everybody here,
put me to work. Get me connected with your organizations.
Yeah. So let's see if we can't put him to work. But Bob, what's traditionally? I mean, how long do you normally like your gig to go for?
It can go for right now. It's not quite finished. I did the first 25 minutes, and it looks like there may be 20 minutes more. I've written it all, but I have just rehearsed the first 25 minutes. I have an editor who's helping me with it, who knows the score as far as what we're talking about with the duopoly. And she's actually a nominal member of this group. Her name is Carol Schaefer. And she was one of the founders of the Bernie movement one of the 2 founding members of the Bernie movement in Asheville, and she's very dynamic. She's helping me. She's done all the marketing for this thing, and I've been left to put together the presentation. We also have the likely great-granddaughter of Mark Twain appearing with us on Sunday.
There you go. Love
her
it.
Her name is Susan Madeline. Gosh, I better get it written down here so I won't forget. Anyway, Susan has written a book, The Twain Shall Meet, and she has, to my satisfaction, has proven that she is indeed the granddaughter of Mark Twain. So we're going to role play. She's going to come up on the stage with me, and we're going to address each other affectionately as great granddaughter and great granddad. And then she's going to tell her story for about between 5 and 10 minutes. And I hope we're going to go on tour together around here doing what I'm trying to do for the People's Party NC. And she should be able to really draw a crowd. And right now she doesn't know it because I haven't talked to her about that part. But she's very theatrical. She's actually has done some acting. And when I asked her to do several things, if she would be interested in that, and also using her name to promote the show, she went for everything. So she'll be selling her book there, which, as I said, is the name of that is never, not never, but The Twain Shall Meet. Okay, that's all I got. I'm going to say one more time. Talk to the organizations you're a member of, or get into the organizations you should be a member of, and then talk to those organizations about considering the People's Party as a major new party in the United States. That's it.
One other thing, Bob, is there any way you can, you're going to be able to videotape your?
I've got, listen, man, I've hired a top end video group at fairly considerable expense. So I'm going to have a video of the whole thing. And we're going to also have it available for what they call live stream, except we're not going to live stream it and have people decide they'd rather stay home and watch it than come pay for a ticket.
Well,
I've also pledged, I get 60% of the gate, of the door, of the ticket sales. And I have pledged to the People's Party of North Carolina, after expenses, to give the balance to the party.
Cool.
I think so.
By the way, folks, you can write a check to us, People's Party of North Carolina, or you can pay with a credit card. So just keep that in mind for all of your friends that want to give us some money. Also, Bob, on that video thing, I would love to get a copy of that videotape or video. And I think I could go in and pull a couple little clips out and
yes, sir.
Feature them.
Put it on the website. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give you the whole thing and you can do whatever you want to with it, because I know you're not going to do anything that I would disapprove of, are you?
No, sir. No, sir. Absolutely not. I'll let you see what I do for you before we put it out there. So
when will it be possible to contribute by going to the website?
Probably, well, we got to get our merchant account logged in. They were setting it up today, so I'm saying probably by the weekend we should be live on that.
That'll be good, because I may have the opportunity to suggest, and probably will stage the opportunity to suggest, if you'd like to make a contribution, go to our website.
Okay, good deal. Well, we'll try to have that in place by then. Also, Aaron, I want your permission. What I'm thinking of doing is putting your, and tell me if you don't want to do this, but put your mailing, say if you want to send a check, put your mailing address there, since you are the treasurer, and then they can mail a check to you. I know there's some folks who are weird about online banking and all that, and I understand, I really do. But if you just want to mail a check in and it needs to go somewhere, we can either put your or my address.
Let's put a P.O. box on it, Scott, and I'll pay the first year's freight on the P.O. box. Put a P.O. box on it.
Okay.
Now you got to decide where you're going to do it. It makes sense to put it where Aaron is.
All right, let me write a note on that.
Yeah, let's discuss this. That's a good point. I know when we initially started setting this up, we were talking about a PO box. Right now, it's just my address, but
Okay. Well, that's fine. We can do
we'll
that.
figure it out. Yeah.
So if, because once we get a check, we have mobile check deposit available now. So we can, once we get a check in our hands, we can just go ahead and put it in the bank right then and there with our smartphones. I know me and Eric have that ability to do that, but the PO box may be the right way to go on that. So
yeah, I'm starting to think maybe it's definitely a convenience thing too, to the way we've been doing it now. But I think we're at the point now where we could probably do a PO box. So
The point is to make it easy for the contributor to contribute.
right.
Yeah. But
No.
to your point, Bob, yeah, we should have that set up by this week. I think we're pretty close. We heard back from them today.
Yeah,
We're
that'd
getting
be
a
good.
login.
So I can tell people they can go to the website. And what are their options on the website? PayPal and something like.
Well, no, we're going to set up what we call a landing page, and that's going to have, I'm going to go in and custom design it. It's going to have our logo and everything on it. All they got to do is enter in their information and click send or pay or whatever. And that's all they got to do. Now we can use those other accounts, but this one here is something that is specifically designed for us.
So it's like a personalized type thing. Like our website will have all the, once they get to the website, they can just put their information in directly.
Okay, good. Well, let me know when that's set up so I won't announce it and have them go there and nothing. And it says, we are not able to take donations at this time.
At the very least, Bob, at the very least, you can still send them to the website at this point. And at the very least, if that portion isn't set up, we'll at least have, our address on there on how they can send a check.
Okay, yeah, put the address on.
Because the accounts are open. So that's all set up and ready to go. So.
Okay. So I go ahead and send them to the website, and it'll either be there for taking the money or for mailing it to one of you, right?
Yeah, or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, if we're going to do that with the PO box, that's got to be done this week.
Yeah.
Which isn't really hard to do.
Right. I might go ahead and do that tomorrow.
Yeah, if you got a post office or a UPS or somewhere like that where you can get a PO box pretty close to your house, that would work well. So
yeah.
Cool. All right.
There are also these UPS kiosk businesses that are independent. They have mailboxes on their site.
Oh yeah. I got a post office by me. I can just use that.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, we are through our first set of things to do, and does anybody have anything? Okay, Bob. Janet. What's up, Janet?
Janet, you're on mute.
So I'm looking for where to have. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know how this all goes together, but I find in my life I'm always trying to bring people together to make connections. And we had talked before about Matthew Ho, and I continue to be really impressed with him. And
I'm losing about half of what you're saying, Janet.
Bob, can you mute?
Okay, he muted. Is that any better now? Can you hear better? Okay. I feel like Matthew really stands for all of our progressive positions, and I think he and the Green Party presidential candidate, it's Howie what? I can't get his last name in my head.
Hawkins.
Yes. Okay. And I just posted something on Gilded I never paid much attention to him, but he has a nice little discussion of third parties that I put on Gilded. I think that Matthew Ho is very welcoming of support from all progressives. And I'm just wondering how we could connect with that energy in a way that would also support our effort. And I could see, for example, Bob, if he's interested, kind of connecting and supporting that campaign effort, as well as what supporting building our party. Now, how do we do that? What's our message? I'm not quite sure. How do we appeal to people alongside the Green Party? I think one of their arguments is that their platform, how do they put it? The Democratic Party's platform is more similar to the Republican Party platform than it is to progressive issues. And that's where we are too. And, it doesn't have to be all one party. I'm not just, I don't know how to talk about it. But it seems to me like there's some way that we could be supporting Ho's candidacy and also recruiting people for the People's Party, and maybe through the populist. What is that called anyway?
Populist
That
action.
would be something that everybody could join. Anyway, I'm not clear how to do it, but I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a great point, Janet. Real quick, I'll just jump in here and say I'm gonna put on my Mark Ortiz hat. Basically, the answer to your question is, as a party, we cannot do much of anything. We just have to provide people an option on the ballot, and add candidates to that so that people can vote for that candidate who represents us. As a pressure group, we can do whatever we want. So absolutely, we could support the Greens as the pressure group, and that's why we separated it out, so we had more lateral ability to do that. We could, many of us already support Matthew Ho for sure, and I really love your idea about getting him connected. So one thing I could do is actually, I'm mutuals with him on Twitter, and so I can reach out. And he started following our party Twitter page. He follows us on Twitter, so
Okay.
I could certainly, and I think he even messaged. I have to check, but I can certainly reach out to him and hit him up and just
Come to a meeting.
and just like invite him over to come talk to us.
I also, I talked to him last week, and he said he would love to join one of our Zoom groups to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. He's very approachable. Literally anyone can hit him up, and he's very open. That's part of what I like about him. He's got basically an open door policy.
He's just such an amazing candidate. I don't remember ever coming across anyone like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that's I just wanted to really quick, that's the how on how we would do something like that.
Maple, you're next.
Thank you. I was going to say, if we had this progressive stack, it would be like women, Black people, handicapped people first. You know what I mean? I think I mentioned that one time, and then white men would be last. But it's like on this call, and for instance, 4 white women, 5 white guys, whatever. And so it doesn't matter that much. But that's the way to, have not the same people talk. But anyways, this is good. Yeah, I just want to say I agree. Yeah, I met him, and then I listened to a bunch of videos, 2 or 3 videos, a lot about the military, but I mean, he gets it about climate. He's a fighter. He's tough. Beasley's like nothing compared to, I don't want to hold my nose. I think I'm going to vote for him. But I don't know if I can. I don't even know. I think we should, let people know, like the pressure group. Thanks, Aaron. So anyway, yeah, I'm chiming in. I wish we could support, and I wish we could do Mark's idea, whatever, putting all the other parties in a thing and have like ranked choice voting or a list and just vote for who you want. Ideally, just vote for who the hell you want, and we'd be all set. But anyway, yeah, I agree, Janet. I want us to maybe somehow, either as individuals or like an informal group, telling him. I saw him campaigning about 6 weeks ago at an event in Durham. I went to the labor, Raise Up / Fight for 15 event, and I saw him there, and I had a quick talk with him. I said, "Oh, maybe you could come and talk to our People's Party, meetings. That would be cool. I'm sure we'd love to have you." He goes, "Yeah, maybe later, after the elections." I said, "Yeah, that'd be cool." So anyway, I agree. Over.
Bob, it's you time. All you, Bob. Unmute
I got
yourself.
you. Just give me a chance to get unmuted. I have a hard enough time with Zoom, man. I am technologically challenged. Janet, in answer to your question about would I be interested or at least consider doing something to support him, the answer is yes. If you'll come up with a format, what you have in mind, I haven't thought anything about it. I have said that I am definitely that for our group, our party, whatever we are now, our political organization, isn't that what the state calls us now? Anyway, we should be supporting candidates that have similarities to what we believe in and what we want to see happen. They get precious little support, and the third parties are third parties, and they're not everywhere. And we're looking to become a major new national party. So if we support the candidates that are struggling in their own situation, and I would include Democrats. I've been stomped on by two people here on this call about, my God, no, whoa, can't vote for a Democrat. Anyway, but we'll just leave that for another discussion. But I would be happy to entertain doing something to support him. I understand that he's really a really good candidate. So, but my first order of business is going and talking to people, trying to interest them in joining People's Party of North Carolina. That is my primary focus, and everything else comes after that. That's it. Get it together,
Okay.
Janet, and we'll talk about it.
Janet, what you got?
I just have one more question. I was talking to my friend in New York, and she was saying that they have the working families something party. Anyway, she said sometimes more than one party will a candidate can run on more than one party, right? Now, so then it just occurred to me, if we're a party, could we do that with Matthew Hoh? I'm not advocating. I'm just like asking the question.
Can you rephrase that question? You saying, can he run with People's Party platform or People Party?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we don't have a ballot line yet, which is going to be our big pushes to get.
Oh, I see. So that, but we couldn't use him to get a ballot line.
Yeah, he may want to run on our ballot if later on, if we get ballot access. But at this point, we could take Populist Action of North Carolina, and we could support him in that regard. I mean, we could put out, press release. Populist Action North Carolina is in strong support of Matthew Hoh for Senate, and go about it that way. I mean,
I'm just thinking it's such an attractive candidate. If we kind of latch on to him, and that it would reflect well on our effort too.
Well, exactly, because we want to play the long game. Okay, so we understand that yeah, maybe we're not ready right yet, but we're going to build relationships with these kinds of folks, and
Right.
we want them to be thinking down the road. Well, hey, maybe I should, because who knows, the green thing might not work out for them, and then the People's Party might be at some point something that he's going to be thinking about running on our ballot line, and then that's going to be a win for us. So, well, that's down the road. But yes, and also to address this green thing, I am going to be contacting the Greens of North Carolina, and I think it's Tony and Trudeau is his last name, another guy. But anyway, I want to invite them over to our meeting, and I want us to talk to them and just kind of network with them a little bit, let them know that we're not the enemy, but we're willing to, help them in any way to move forward. And at the same time, maybe they could reciprocate, but we don't need to be like fighting each other because we're third or fourth party or fifth party or whatever. The little guys have to get together if we're going to have any kind of, I think it'll be more powerful in that way for us to give more voices to the political process. So, Bob, you got your hand up?
Not now. I forgot to put it down.
Aaron, it's your next.
Ron was getting tired too.
Just real quick, I totally agree with what you're saying, Janet. I'm all on board, and I'll also say there have been some of us here who've even gathered signatures for the Greens. So collaboration is a part of what our mission is and what we do, working with other people. For the record, because it feels a little called out here, I'm all for people on a personal level doing whatever they want to do. That's your prerogative as a voter. But as an organization, as a political organization, a political party, it makes zero sense to support anything establishment, and that's kind of where my point is. So, you can't as the People Party of North Carolina endorse a Democrat. That doesn't make sense. That's like saying as the Libertarian Party of North Carolina, we endorse this Democrat. That doesn't make any sense. So there's a function for everything. There's obviously more lateral stuff that you can do, like I said, with the pressure group. And as personally, you can do whatever you want. No one's stopping anyone from doing whatever you want personally, if that's your prerogative. Me personally, I'm 100% done with Democrats. I think they're the biggest hypocrites in the world. They'll stab you right in the back and they'll smile on your face, whereas the Republican Party will stab you in the front and growl at you. But either way, they're stabbing you. They're stabbing you multiple times. So I don't see the point in supporting anything Democrat. And it's unfortunate that people still there. I agree that there are good progressive candidates that will run on Democratic tickets. So I'm not against that. I'm just saying personally, you can do whatever you want. As an org, that's totally different. So I as a representative of an organization in the executive committee, would never endorse a Democrat as an org. That doesn't make any sense. As a personal thing, you can do whatever you want personally. So that's my 2 cents. I just had to respond to that.
Stacy, you're muted.
You're muted, Stacy.
I'm not now. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, good. First, I'm just going to ditto what Janet said. No matter how good the Democrat is, once they get into office with the Democratic Party, I'm going to use her words. They get kneecapped. Their power is completely diminished. The greatest person in the world could go there and forget it, as we've seen with the squad. So, but the other thing I wanted to say, which is I think more important is that we should be careful how close we get with the Green Party and how chummy we get with them, because having been there with those very same people you mentioned in the party with them, I'm not convinced that they are really in good faith about getting people elected. So yeah, I just don't trust them. And so I would take it very slow and just one step at a time with what we want to help them with. I mean, I think it's fine to help Matthew Ho. And honestly, I'm not sure that he's that this is just a hunch I get. It's not based on very much. But I don't know if he's that attached to the Green Party. I think if I get the sense that whatever party is available, he would use, a progressive party. So, and just from what I know about the Green Party, that they're very insular, they're very snooty about who they let in. They're not really trying to get a massive membership. So they're kind of shooting themselves in their foot. And so how much do we really want to help a party that just isn't really interested in growing? That's my my sense with that, and just caution everybody to be really careful.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stacy. Absolutely. We will extend a hand, but at the same time, we are the People's Party. We represent people's issues. We are people of North Carolina and the people of the United States. We don't have any affiliations, and I think we really need to drive home the whole idea about money. What is the thing that always decides elections? It's money, or my gas prices, my food prices, all that stuff. And if the economy's bad, then blah, blah, blah. But I think on the other hand, well, in addition to, the economy is something that people care about. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the rich people who are getting everything and the poor people who are getting nothing, and what little they have is being taken from them by Wall Street. So we need to really do this top down, up down, not right left, but up down argument. We need to really make that case that the people are being unrepresented. What about the old saying, no taxation without representation? Well, we sure as heck fire ain't being represented in Washington anymore, the regular folks, the working folks, and we need to tap into those people. And I have a plan to go to the poor neighborhoods of Winston and hand out business cards to talk to those people and get working people. And yes, we're going to get our hands dirty. And yeah, I could get shot, but I don't care, because we got to get those people excited and get those people involved and let them know that somebody here gives a damn and wants to represent them, and for them to participate and be a part of the process, because people want to be spectators in this society, and we need full contact people getting involved and holding representatives and council members and whoever accountable and networking together. So so those kinds of strategies, working on the, if the Greens don't want to do that, and it doesn't sound like they want to, but we do. We want to represent the people. We want to remember that name, People's Party. That's what we do. We represent people and their issues. And so, that's kind of my 2 cents on that. Anybody else And Matthew? Yeah. Matthew, I got to be honest, I have not spent a lot of time listening to Matthew, but I trust what a lot of you guys say. I'm going to have to check into him a little bit more, but he might not be super happy about the Greens as well. But once again, one of the main reasons we're doing this is to give people a choice. I've been so sick over the years of the Democrats thumbing their nose at me, saying, well, who else you gonna vote for? We're the only other major party that you can vote for. And then they threw a little what I call a roper, which is who Bernie Sanders was. In a con game, you have what's called a roper, and they bring them in. And then basically what Bernie Sanders did was roped in all the progressives back into the Democratic Party to vote for him. And then he drops them and betrays them, So, we're tired of that kind of business, and it's a game that they continue to play. So, I'm going to continue to harp on this idea about the definition of insanity. If you're a Democrat and you keep voting that way and you keep getting nothing, well, hello, wake up, and so now it's like, well, who do we vote for? Okay, well, I'm going to give you somebody to vote for. I'm going to give you a party to get behind. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to give people, a choice, which is what America's supposed to be about, is free choice. And so anyway.
Yeah, I can go on forever on this topic. I'll just say one thing. These people, they show you how much they're hypocrites every day. I don't know if you guys have been following the story, but there was a person who, is on the TYT progressive lane, Nomiki Konst, and she threw her hat in the ring to run in a district in New York. I think it's Long Island district. It's a new district that they just drew up, despite there being a true progressive running already on the ballot. And it was a DS. Now, granted, she's a DSA candidate, DSA endorsed candidate. And granted, she's been openly backed by AOC and all these people. And now this is, at this point, this is like, whatever, because it's sort of a Democrat problem, right? But what they're doing is they're dividing themselves. And then they'll point fingers at people like us saying, oh, you're dividing us. It's like, no, we're not. We have no interest in going after liberals. Okay. We're interested in the majority of voters. And Brian will tell you, I'm sure he's got the stats. The majority of voters in North Carolina, especially, who are independent, who have washed their hands from both Democrats and Republicans, who have said, we're done with this. That's the majority of them. That's most people. So that's who we're, and honestly, I think if once people hear our message, we'll get even more people. We'll get people to see, maybe this. I'll tell you one thing. There's a lot of people in the Black community right now who, for whatever reason, were unaware of what would have happened, even though a lot of us were trying to warn them about Joe Biden, and now they see, and they have learned the lessons. Okay, they are not going to, fall into that definition of insanity. I know a good amount. So I'm just throwing that out there. People are waking up. You see unions popping up all over the country in all different types of the country, all in the different ways in different industries, what have you, whether it's workers, laborers, black, all these different things. People are like, I'm done with it. And guess what? All this time we're over here building the infrastructure because we understood this forever ago. So we're building the infrastructure so that when people do finally wake up, because I used to be a victim to this too. I fell for this cycle myself. So I consider myself a pretty bright guy, but I was totally blind to it. That's just that's just the propaganda and that we live in. We live in a society full of propaganda. So it's hard to break away from it. As soon as I shut off the news, I was like, it's so much easier to realize what's going on. So I think more people are going to start seeing it that way. I think once they do wake up, they're going to be looking for people like us, looking for groups like us to come to. That's who we're going after. And there's a lot more people like that than there are who are plugged into political podcasts, because the people who are plugged in and listen to this stuff every day, all the liberal bullshit on the media, a lot of those people they're gone. They're totally brainwashed. You're not going to change their mind about anything. They think they know what they know. We don't. That's fine. That's fine. We're not in it for them. We're in it for the majority of the people, the masses, who know that their material conditions that they live in are not being impacted in any way by any party. And they're going to look for people who are actually addressing climate. They're going to look for people who are addressing healthcare. That's why we are here. That's what we're building. And as long as we are true to that and true to who we are, we'll be fine. I think Scott made a comment earlier this week. We were talking about setting up the account. He said the Democrats and the Republicans, they're going to eat themselves at this point. They're going after each other. They're going to tear themselves down. It's going to be hard for us to mess it up at this point. We're just going to be there ready for them. So once they realize it, all we have to do is just let them know who we are. Hey, we've got our names on the ballot. Hey, this person represents you. I don't care if you live in a red district, or if you live on a farm, if you lived in a city, or I don't care if you're in a suburb, or I don't care. Are you a person? Do you have humanity towards another human? Okay, then we want you. That's it. That's what it's about. So, I get fired up obviously about this stuff, but it's because we've been lied to. People are hurting. People are dying. People are being, we talk about how our government sanctions other governments, and a sanction can destroy a country. Well, they're putting sanctions on us as Americans. They've sanctioned us as people in this country, let alone other governments. They're doing it inside the borders and outside the borders. So they're throwing money at cops. That's like throwing money at the military to kill people overseas. They're killing Black people right here. So that's what this is about. I mean, they've waged war on us. We put our faith in Barack Obama, and he gave the military more, the police more money, and he militarized the cops. They weren't militarized like they are now before Obama. Not like this. That was Obama that did that. He was the hope that we thought we were voting for. That was a Democrat. And now they're going to continue to dupe you over and over again. You're going to keep supporting Democrats? For what?
Yeah, well, it was Bill Clinton who gutted welfare and gutted a lot of social programs and sent our jobs overseas with NAFTA. So, and then of course corporate America basically sold us all out, and then got the cheap goods from China, and then gave themselves a bunch of money. So anyway,
Don't forget about the school to prison pipeline. Biden was up to his eyeballs in that.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I got out of turn here. Bob, well, you were next, Bob. Go ahead. Did you?
Yeah. Okay. I'm really glad to hear Aaron be so passionate. I think he should be our first candidate for Congress. I'm just as serious as I can be.
No, he's treasurer, man. He's got.
I'm not. We'll get another treasurer. We need a candidate. We'll need a candidate. I'm being half serious because I hadn't really given it a lot of thought.
My wife would never let me run. It's never going to happen.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to let you know that's how much I think.
I appreciate that. I consider myself more like Fred Hampton.
Well,
I consider myself more of a community member doing that work. I don't want to. I'm not a politician.
There you go.
Well, you'll get revolution from me before you get me, being a politician. So
there you go.
What's the matter? You want to get shot?
It might happen anyways. We put my address on the website. That might be a given already. So I gotta be careful. I gotta
put a post office box. Use a post office box, please.
Yeah, that all those precautions can be taken, but I would like to address something that I'm not saying this would happen, okay? But what are the energy that I want to see from you and me and everybody in this party? You know why the terrorists win? Because the terrorists are willing to die for their cause, okay? I want that kind of an energy in our group, in our party. I want us to be willing to die for what we believe in. And if we have people who will not quit and not give up and continue to push and continue to advocate for the rights that we as a people deserve and need, then I like you said, Aaron, I don't think there's any way we can fail. And I'd like to make the analogy like I have before of surfing. Okay, what we're doing now, we're paddling out on our surfboard, and there's nothing going on. Water's calm and all that. But we're getting in position, right? So once Once we're in position, though, you wait. Here she comes. Here comes that big old wave. And here we are, right in position. When that wave comes, we're going to ride it, and we're going to ride it hard. And we're going to ride it to victory. So that's kind of what I kind of think in my head about what we're doing here is, the numbers aren't big now and all that, and all the things that we envision happening. But that can come in time. And as long as we continue to move forward with our plans, with our being consciously being aware of our plans and working with each other, I don't think we can fail. I really do. I think it's time for this kind of thing to manifest itself, and we are just giving it some kind of vehicle for that manifestation. But you gotta build it in order for them to come, and so that's what we're doing here. And I think we're doing a pretty good job for 1 year. We've got the infrastructure in place just about here. We got a little more work to do, but we've got a lot going on. And, I'd like to go ahead and segue into our goal setting session here. If there's anybody here that wants to talk about goals or what we can do, what you want to see happen in the next year, then the floor is yours. If you want some basic ideas, I know we want to go ahead and modify. And for me personally, I'll go ahead and start. Me personally, I want to go ahead and finish up, get the websites done. We need to tighten up the messaging. Messaging is critical, and it was okay starting out, but we really got to tighten up the messaging on the websites, because we want to really talk to especially Democrats, but I don't want to alienate Republicans either, because a lot of the issues that we face as a people are the same that your poor Republicans, believe it or not, those do exist. Poor Republicans have problems with health care. Poor Republicans have problems with affordable housing. Poor Republicans have problems with, violence and things of that nature. So those are issues that we should be able to throw a line out. But I don't want to go really strong, hardcore progressive either, in the sense that we don't give them a space to say, hey, this is a party for the people. And we have to kind of think about that a little bit and try to make sure that we navigate those waters in a way that we're all comfortable with. So but yeah, I'd like to get that done. And then of course, start raising some money. We need to start doing some tabling. And we need to come up with some cool ideas about getting out. I mean, even if you walk through a parking lot and talk to people and hand out some cards, get together with a buddy, and then, fundraising goals. Aaron just put those up there. What can we do to raise funds? There's a lot that needs to be done, my friends, but we'll do it together and we will be successful at it. Dan, it just says people say we should focus on class rather than R&D, which is true. It's up, down, and they want us to think that this is wedge issues for Republicans and Dems. And as long as we keep going down that road, we're playing their game on their ball field. We want to change the rules. We want to take, thank you, Stacy. Absolutely. We need to really drive home that idea that 42% of the American voting public are unaffiliated. We have the numbers. We could run this thing, but we got to get together. We got to be able to pull people together. There's a lot of people that don't vote. They're just pissed off at the system. They know it's rigged, and they don't know what else to do. Once again, we go back to choice. Do they have a choice? So yeah, we've got a lot of exciting, fun, and challenging things ahead of us, and I think we can meet the challenges. Stacy, you're next.
Okay, let's see if I can remember. First, I guess one thing is, all right, two things. One is, one of the goals that I want for this year is to incorporate sociocracy into at least our action group. I can't ever remember the name. Sorry. PA and C. Hank, incorporate sociocracy. We can do it if we start at the beginning when it's simple. It will be easier for it to grow. And it's simple now. I think we'll start as soon as we can. Can somebody please mute themselves? And then the second thing is, this I think is more important. Scott, can you mute yourself for just a sec? I'm almost done. To follow the union building that's happening in North Carolina. I think those are the people, in terms of spreading our knowledge about ourselves, we should follow whoever the people are who are building, doing union building, and make sure they know about us, because those are the people. I think Maple mentioned low-hanging fruit. Those are the people I believe who are going to really want to be a part of us, and they're already passionate enough to take action to form a union. And it's starting to happen all over North Carolina too, as well as the rest of the country. So we should keep our ears open for that. That's basically what I wanted to say. Done.
Cool. Well, thank you, Kate. Yeah, the good points, all of those. Doggone it. I was going to respond to something you just said, but oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, with the unions and things. Remember too, Stacy, I think the thing you noticed that Amazon went to the $15 an hour, and I think they didn't have to do that, and they could have gotten dirty and they could have fought that thing, but they decided, smarter people at the at Amazon wised up and realized they would have a real crap storm on their hands if they decided we'll go ahead and just do that. And so that was good for them. I'm glad to see that, hoping that everybody else would start doing that, because if they don't, the people can at some point hopefully start to unionize and organize, and we can certainly push for more rules or legislation, whatever you want to call it, that will allow unions to propagate and form, where there's so much anti-union busting type of legislation. Of course, North Carolina is a right to work state and all of that. And well, you're right, Janet, $25 minimum wage would really actually bring it up to where most economists say it would have been if the industry hadn't been price fixing or collusion in keeping the wages low and their profits high. So, but yeah, good point, Stacy. Good to see that Amazon has got some sense anyway. Maple, you next.
Yeah, I'm thinking we may have to be satisfied with just existing and trying to get the word out that we exist, because people don't really know. I mean, I've mentioned it here and there, eyebrows, or they just ignore it. They're just, they think we're crazy. There's, you got to get over like a hump. We're all kind of, and I just got to the hump where I just don't even want to, excuse me, I don't even really want to vote, but I'm going to make myself vote instead of holding my nose. It's almost like I think I might vomit. You know what I mean? Like, and I think if people aren't at that point where they really understand that they're so screwed in the parties and they're still like, oh, election, you got to vote, like that's the answer to everything and shit like that. Or even beyond that, we're like, well, yeah, but we'll change, oh, it'll happen, like some days, and they just don't know what else to do. I don't know. But anyways, we're at that point. So that low-hanging fruit that we were talking about that I mentioned last week, okay, we're going to try to convince people that are hostages to the Dem, especially in the South and including North Carolina, they're just hostages, especially people of color, and they're advocates. That's that wall, and it's a lot of PS, probably most voters at the last minute, they'll just keep doing that. So we're a special group, and I'm just willing to vote for Matthew Ho. I'm just finally this past year and the year before, getting there. Anyway, it's a special point, I think, to be in that club, you know what I mean? And so I think at this point, as far as our party goes, I think, hi, Kate, I live in Chapel Hill. I didn't get to meet you. I was like, I think we're just kind of like, we're influencing by existing and building, like we're here. Like it is gonna be slow. I really like to get people to sign up and get out there, but I think the reality is we know it, and we want other people to get to realize how they're just screwed unless they get out of the game. And it is not going to be fast, I guess, but we can pretend like it is. We can act as if, and just get them signed up and get them to think about it. And I think the sales point is like, we just want the right to run, not to convince them of going over the wall. Maybe they're close to it, like convincing someone that being a vegan is really like the most ideal place to be, like give up all meat. But like, hey, I've been eating chicken and turkey still for years, thinking, gee, yeah, vegan is the best. But I know in my heart, and globally they say chicken and turkey is good. It's the cattle. And I haven't eaten any cattle or lambs or pigs for 45 years now. I made the switch a long time ago because they drink too much water and they eat too much food, but I have that little bit, So I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? People are like maybe getting there and like really sick of it and like thinking about it, and they'll know that at least, oh yeah, I'd sign your petition that we should have another party and have it come along and not expect them to be, 100% with us and stuff like that. But anyway, that's my, we're all chiming in with kind of the preaching to the choir stuff, but it's okay. It's solidarity and, I don't know, but I think you guys you're almost all over in the Greensboro except New Jersey. It's your turn to do some events before it gets really, really hot, and then everybody's excuse. We're almost there. Just look in the paper and set up a table somewhere. Get practicing is what I think. Over.
All right, Bob, it's you.
Yeah, I want to say first one thing about Jeff Bezos and the Amazon and the Alabama group, where he spent $2,200 a day busting the union. Paid one guy, I think, or his company, $22 a day, and they moved the stoplight. I guess he got the police to do that. And I'll tell you, my theory is that Bezos knew exactly what he was doing, and that he beat the strike. Then he gave them the $15. They didn't win it. They didn't beat him. He beat them. That's what I believe happened down there. Okay, so I want to encourage everybody to ask themselves, why are you here? And then to remember what you said, what you answered, and grab somebody, maybe somebody you don't even know, and tell them why you're a member of the People's Party of North Carolina. Because we can sit around and talk about it forever. I'm going to have some stuff that you might be able to use just on a general basis in my Twain talk about what we've been talking a lot about tonight, about how the collusion works and how it's happening right before your very eyes, and you don't see it here in our current political setup. But I just want to say that I appreciate the conversation, and I'm looking forward to Janet getting back to me on her ideas about supporting Matthew Ho. And I would like to see somebody show up pretty soon to get me invited to an organization they're a member of, or at least familiar with, that they can pave the way to getting a Mark Twain talk on politics then and now. I'm looking forward to that. Please don't disappoint me. Thank you.
Well, Bob, I would like to say that we will definitely be promoting you if we can find a way to do it, and we can. Would be nice to be able to put a little blurb or some kind of little link or something to have you speak, and that's why I want to try to maybe get the maybe a clip or two, and then we can kind of integrate it with the websites and say, hey, have Mark Twain speak at your event or something like that, and then maybe have it redirect over to your appointment page or contact me or something like that.
Yeah,
And
that'd be great. That'd be great. But I mean, we should do all of that. But the best thing we can do is to connect with organizations you're already connected with. I must have said it 10 times already. I'll be glad to do anything where you can get me connected. I'll be glad to go see them. And I'll pay my way to Manteo and Murphy. I don't care where it is. I will go there at my expense. But I have to have a connection. I have to have a welcome. I have to have an invitation. So get me some.
well, everybody, there you go. If you are connected with other groups, and go ahead and see if you can't talk them into having something like that at their next event or what have you. And of course, you know how to get in touch with Bob. I did want to address one little thing. It seems like I know Maple and maybe some of you others are having issues actually being able to connect with another member, and I was thinking of coming up with like a contact list with names and addresses for just members of the inner circle who could, if they needed that. You can message someone through Gilded. If they're in the Gilded server, you can click on their name and you can click on message them, and then you can exchange other phone numbers or whatever else you want from there. How many people here want to have some more Gilded training? I mean, it seems like a lot of people are, having issues from time to time with Gilded. So if we need to do some more of that this year, then we can, just so that we can get more familiar with the technology. And we do have Nissan, who's pretty good with that as well. So amongst us, we should be able to answer questions and get people more tuned in.
It can't hurt, but it's really, I don't think it's going to ever be good for like editing stuff in those. I could be wrong. Like I tried to edit in one of those special areas for documents, and I had a horrible time. I had to get out of there. I just couldn't edit. So I don't know if it's ever going to be good for some things like actually creating documents. I don't know. Over. But yeah, it can't hurt to have a little training. Over.
Yeah, it's a little tricky there, but I mean, speaking of training, though, we really need to take some time, and that's something else. Another big project this year is learning sociocracy and seeing how it works and making it work, trying some scenarios, what have you. And I think also while we're here, Maple, how you feel about running the meeting next week?
Let me check my calendar.
Okay. Check your calendar. And then Stacy, I want you to run the meeting after that. How does that sound? All right. Stacy's up for it. Beautiful.
Wait, I got to check my calendar too. I might be going up north for the 4th. So if it doesn't come.
Oh, right. It's the 4th. When is the 4th? Anyway, is it?
I think it's in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I can do it the 15th. Yeah. All
okay.
right.
All right, you're on the 15th and the 22nd. Stacy, you want to do it?
That's my birthday.
Well, isn't that fun? You can give us your birthday gift, huh?
We're not your favorite people to hang out with. Oh God.
I didn't say anything. Let me have a look at my calendar, but yeah, I might do it.
All right. Well, we can, you don't have to do it on the 22nd. You can do it on another week, maybe in the next couple of weeks or so,
Okay.
So, but yeah, everybody bring their own.
Switch with her, but I can't. I got something on the 22nd and something else.
But you can next week though, right? Right. Next Wednesday is you're going to be doing it. And once again, just check what's in the agenda channel. And of course, you can you're going to run the show, so you can maybe bring up some of your own little pet things you want to bring up. and we'll move forward in that respect. Kate, got anything to say?
I was just going to say, if you all are on using Gilded, I know you're in the UPA, Scott, but everybody's welcome in the UPA, and I'm on the outreach and onboarding committee, and happy to walk anybody through how to use Gilded. Because it was hard to learn on our own, and so but I've gotten really good on the computer and on my phone on the app if anybody needs some.
Well, can you go ahead and put your information in the chat, and that way people can jot it down or what have you, or get in touch with you. Of course, you are, like we said, she is on UPA. If you're in that channel, it's going to be good for all of us to network that way. It's one of the easier ways of doing that.
Yeah.
So we are at our ending time. Any closing comments before we say sayonara?
Just appreciate everyone for coming through. Like always, I always get energized at these meetings. Obviously, I get passionate, but that's why we're here. We're trying to make it better for the future. So appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
I'd like to say thank you for letting me watch. It felt really good to listen to the passion of all of you about building the party, because mostly I've just been in the organizing part of the UPA lately, and so this felt really, really, really good. So thank you for letting me sit in.
Anytime.
Thank you. I'm going to take you up on that. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can invite anyone from UPA too to come through if they want.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll let
Kate,
them know
if you could,
how you do it. Yes.
Kate, I'll just stay for a second after. I got to ask you if you know somebody.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to just ditto. We had some good conversations tonight, which was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Sorry I was late. I was looking for something else that I thought I had to do, but then I didn't have to do it. All right.
Well, I know Kate and Aaron, you were both a part of the MPP when we did the NOC and all that. And one thing that Ralph Nader said that really has continued to hit home with me is that do not let this technology thing, overtake what you're doing. And I agree 100%. We are the people's party, and this technology here has helped us all to get together. But man, we have to continue to connect with each other as people and do things together and get together as people. I think there's some bad forces out there that want us all separated, and we can't allow that to happen. So, let's use the technology wisely, but at the same time, we have to keep it balanced. We have to make sure that we're connecting each other in as real a way as we possibly can. So
Maybe we
We'll
should.
go to your house next week.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, it's great. Sounds
Well,
good.
maybe not on a Wednesday night, but maybe we should plan an event, like maybe on a weekend or something.
That's me and Aaron talked about that too, is let's just plan some kind of event, and maybe we can work out the deals of that, maybe next meeting or the one after that, but just some kind of a summary kind of thing would be great. So
I wouldn't mind going to Greensboro.
yeah.
I was just in Greensboro. Darn.
What?
6 miles.
Yes,
Well,
I was. I bought my I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about it, but I've